Special interview for Mustang News. We talked to Midwestern State University President Dr. Suzanne Shipley. Dr. Shipley is going to speak to us about her background as well as what she has in store for the future of MSU. All this and more coming up. Hello and welcome back. This morning I'm sitting down with Dr. Shipley. Dr. Shipley, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing today?
I'm very good. If it's okay with you, I'd like to mention or speak on a few parts of MSU, your presidency at MSU, and kind of your general background.
Sounds good.
Awesome. So I understand that you grew up in the Texas Panhandle in somewhat of a rural community.
I grew up in Lubbock.
That's not a rural community at all.
No, it isn't, and it's actually not in the Panhandle. I was informed when I interviewed and referred to Lubbock as a Panhandle that it's not one of the 30 counties in the Panhandle itself. So although you can go to Panhandle Drug and Panhandle Movies and Panhandle Grocery, everything, Lubbock should not call itself the Panhandle.
Well, I'm going to disagree with that, and we're going to call Lubbock the Panhandle.
Thank you. Thank you.
So in that light, I would like to ask you how you feel how somewhat rural communities, even being that Lubbock is a decent size.
Well, when I was there, it was about the size of Wichita Falls.
It was about the size of Wichita Falls. Well, even at that, this is somewhat of a rural community. It's not exactly the size of Dallas, but what do you feel the connection between education and rural communities is, and where should it go?
I can say that one of the two greatest impacts on my life was the university. So when I grew up, you could either go to church to understand music and culture in a broader way, or you could go to performances at the university. There were summer opportunities, and so my life outside school was at the university. So Tech had a real influence on me, and I always knew that I would settle in university towns. And then I ended up with a career at university, so obviously I was a fan, but I think universities make a huge difference in the cultural opportunities for students and families throughout their lifespan. So that's why I have a real focus on community in our strategic plan, which we'll talk about later.
Yes, ma'am. In those same regards, how do you feel MSU and Wichita Falls really coexist together, and what's this symbiotic relationship they have?
Well, if you look at the economy of the city, really the Air Force Base, Midwestern, and the hospital are the three largest employers. And so we have a financial impact on the city, but we also can make it an attractive place that people want to live. And so I think we just need to partner however we can. One of the initiatives that's new that we're working on is called an institute or a center for lifelong learning, and that would bring all the things we do naturally at the university to a population we don't serve yet, who are retirees. And so it would be really interesting to help Wichita Falls become an even more attractive destination for people to retire if they see lifelong learning occurring. And whenever people are interviewing for a job, they look at universities and schools as well as home prices before they move someplace. So we're part of the package that makes Wichita Falls attractive.
Yes, ma'am. So in that regard, MSU would have to grow to make lifelong learning happen. MSU is growing at a significant rate. I feel like there are new buildings popping up every single semester, new parking lots. It's just huge. We obviously are in a new building right now, the new Mass Communication Wing of Fane Fine Arts. I believe you saw a video for it at the banquet, and I believe we have that video. Could we play the video, please?
If you're learning in outdated rooms and you're not learning with the technology that we're using now, then you're already one step behind everyone else who's graduating.
We see it changing all the time, from our computers to the size of your cameras, the type of audio and especially editing equipment that you have. And so in order to remain competitive in the fields and to be able to walk out with your degree and straight into a job, you're going to need to have whatever the current industry is using at the time.
Producer isn't what it used to be. I now shoot video, I shoot packages, I shoot live shots, I edit packages. universities need to be at the forefront of that. They need to be setting the standard. They need to be starting the trend, and especially with young people that are using these types of tools, I think that they would benefit by having the most up-to-date equipment, having the latest technology, and listening to their students and following through with what the students need and what they want. Because once you get out of college, you never know where you're going to go. You never know what medium you're going to go to and what technology is going to be waiting for you.
Being able to have equipment that's up to date and having really, really good technology, I think that'd be very, very beneficial to the mass comm department, and especially the future students who are coming in.
So Dr. Shipley, you've seen this video before, yes?
Yes,
And I believe it was playing the entire day of the dedication.
yes,
During your dedication speech, you said you were a little apprehensive about support for the new mass comm building.
yes.
I'm sure you were aware this question was going to arise.
I figured you'd ask me this.
Well, we're just going to get through it as best we can. Has that changed, or do you still feel that support could have been placed elsewhere?
My concern was not that support could have been placed elsewhere, but as a new president, you come in and you want to have what's called debt capacity, and debt capacity means money to spend the way you need to spend it, and by committing to this building, all of our debt capacity was wiped out. So when I came in, there was no flexibility. We've recovered that flexibility. So as a new president, you ask yourself, was that the right decision on giving up all our debt? And I do believe it was a great decision. And I think that if I had been Dr. Rogers, I would have made the same decision. And it's resulted in this beautiful building, and I think it'll make a huge difference in our students' lives. But I also like the fact that we've worked on saving money different ways so that if we need to build another something, we have the capacity to do so. So they're both important.
So it was more of handling the budget as opposed to
Yes,
believing
it was a
money could
financial
be
issue.
allocated.
Yes,
ma'am,
it was a
absolutely, I
financial issue.
understand.
Not should it have been allocated in this direction, but should it have been fully allocated?
Yes, ma'am. I
That was my
understand.
question.
Well, obviously, we got a lot of bang for our buck.
Yes, you did.
What do you think? How do you feel these technologies will better
I
serve
think-
mass communication students?
I think it's fantastic. What I love about it is it's very empowering for students, and it brings both sides of the liberal arts equation together, where you are learning life skills and you're developing character and talents that'll serve you through your whole life, but you're also developing a marketable skill. And we need to be doing both those things for our students. And I also love the fact that we're getting so much media attention from our community. You noticed that opening was so popular. That's been one of the most exciting building openings we've done for a fairly small space. And you just see the community really hungry for these types of things. So I like it because it's a real bridge to the media around us at a time when all sorts of media is really important, social media, as well as the other types of media. So I think it's a great boon to the university.
Yes, ma'am. All right. So if I could backtrack a little bit and speak about the university in Wichita Falls, I understand one of your primary objectives is to have student population grow.
Yes.
And I believe we've grown by a few percents, a few small fractions of a percent.
Yeah, like 14 students.
Exactly. So I was wondering what plans you had in the future to actually increase student population.
Well, we're going to be talking to Faculty Senate and Staff Senate and others about whether the time has come to hire a vice president for enrollment management, because enrollment management is a real science these days, and it's not something you have someone do who has another whole job. So right now, Dr. Lamb, who oversees student development, also oversees enrollment. He was not trained in enrollment. And I'm going to be talking to the campus about what I feel is a need. If we're going to be serious about growth, which I think we have to become more serious about it, we probably need a professional to help us.
Yes.
So that's probably the next step. And I would really like us to be on a trajectory to move from 6,000 students, where we've really stalled, to 8,000. We have the capacity, as you've mentioned. We've built residence halls, we've built fields, we've built buildings, and we have classrooms that are seen as not as full as the state likes them to be. And we're building another building. And so what we need now are students to fill those buildings. So I want us to get really serious about growth. And I think we're the type of institution, whatever goal we set, we can reach. We've got great quality. The question is, can we add to our quantity?
Yes, ma'am. For this population growth, do you have a timeline for this? Is this a 5-year plan, a 10-year?
Well, we had a goal to grow by 2,000 students by our 100th anniversary in our 100th birthday in 2022. I think that's a little aggressive now, but we are doing well with the outreach to Dallas-Fort Worth. So we picked up about 500 student credit hours this semester, and our building's not even open. So we'd really like to see about 1,000 students there and 1,000 students here, some of whom could be online, and that's not a terribly difficult goal to reach. Whether we do it by 2022 or not, I don't know, but you might as well set it and see what we can do.
Yes, ma'am. It's the centennial.
It is the
Something big has
centennial.
got to happen.
Yes, yes.
So at this time, if there's anything you'd like to say to the students of MSU, the faculty, anybody, please feel free if there's any words you'd like to share.
Thank you. I just would like to say that as I start year 3, I'm happier than ever to be here. I really appreciate the energy and the creativity and enthusiasm that you see in our faculty and in our students and our staff. It's a great place to be. Go Mustangs.
Yes, ma'am. Well, that's going to wrap things up for us here with this interview with Dr. Shipley. Thank you for sitting with us.
Thank you. Thanks
And-
for asking me.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. And that will wrap up this interview with Mustang News.